I'ma make you mine tonight. Pulling your hair, baby. I feel you breathing on me, on you. You know that I'm a selfish lover. When it's mine, I want it. One track mind for it, for you. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Party's never over for me. My favorite Toy Story. Bo Peep is chasing me. Woody, let me be a fantasy. Swiss Army King, they call me. Come find the key, baby, baby. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, babe. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, babe. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, do it, do it, do it. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Please love me. Oh, I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, babe. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it.
Just pulled up to the house. Don't feel like getting out. a pretty brown girl her space. You can keep your bitter. I'ma make a better way. Hey, hey, catch a break. Better way. Oh, hey.
Feeling something special for you. And now you got me thinking till the sun comes up. Daylight and my mind is dreaming. And I'm saying too much couldn't be enough. But I'll be waiting for the moment to take me to you. Yeah, I'll be waiting. I'm just a couple steps from going over the moon. I wanna move with your body, baby. I wanna move with your body, baby. I wanna move with your body, baby. Let me move with your body, baby. Perfection in the way that you move. Boy, you got it. Devotion's getting stronger with all that you do. But I'll be waiting for the moment to take me to you. Yeah, I'll be waiting. I'm just a couple steps from over the moon. I wanna move with your body, baby.
Give me a one if
I wanna move with your body, baby. I wanna move with your body, baby. Let me move with your body, baby. Oh yeah.
All right. Like to welcome you to another edition of AK on Fire. Tonight we have a really good one for you. We're going to be talking about the Passport Bros and some of their detractors. I'm going to talk about some of their male detractors. Let me quick shout out to see Greedy Sarge is in the building. See Natasha's in the building. Rico the One, shout out to you. So this past weekend, I was on a show by a YouTuber. He's a well-known YouTuber named Mr. Letgo. He also happens to be my YouTube coach, and he tackled the topic of the Passport Bros. I think it's safe to say that he's anti-Passport Bros. The premise of his show was that these guys that call themselves Passport Bros are guys that lack any self-confidence, that these guys are cornballs, that these guys go overseas because they lack the ability to attract women here. And so the title of his show was called Passport Bros Get Canceled in Brazil. And we're going to tackle that because I had some issues with that as well. So tonight what we're going to be doing is we're going to go over the video, and I will editorialize in a way that I didn't get to. I didn't really, while I was on the show, I pushed back some, but obviously it's not my show. He controls the mic. And so I didn't get a chance to rebut some of his arguments. So again, we're focusing on, for those of you who just joined, are black men turning on the Passport Bros? So Mr. Letgo and a number of black YouTubers seem to be turning on the Passport Bros. But the question is, are their arguments genuine, or are they simply pandering to women, because pandering to women can be seen as something that's lucrative? As you know, there are a lot of women who are on YouTube. YouTube's female audience is more than 50%. A lot of those YouTubers, female YouTubers, make a pretty decent amount of money. I think some of them will say those with incomes of $75,000 or more are 83% more likely to frequent YouTube, and maybe that could be the reason why you have some male YouTubers who decide that it's more lucrative to pander to women, i.e. Derek Jackson. And even though Kevin Samuels didn't pander to women, he owed a lot of his success, especially his financial success, not only to his female supporters, but also to his female detractors. As we know, it's good to be loved, but sometimes being hated makes you richer, i.e. Muhammad Ali and Floyd Money Mayweather, right? Because more people paid to watch them lose, more people paid to watch them humble. They wanted to be there on that day when they can watch them get humbled. And I think that was something similar to why some women tuned in to Kevin Samuels, because they wanted to see him get his comeuppance. So that's what we're going to be discussing on tonight's show, and we're going to react to the Mr. Letgo's video of Passport Bros getting canceled in Brazil. So let me set that up really quick. 1 second. Let me pull that up.
So I just pulled up.
Let me move that. That's not the right one. Let's see. Mr. Letgo. 202. Okay, give me one. Okay. We're going to pull this up. And here we go.
This is Mr. Letgo, and today we're about to have a very important conversation about the Passport Bros and how I called this mess out over a year ago. Do I have a problem with Passport Bros? No, I don't know these dudes. I have no idea who these dudes are, right? But last year, literally all through 2022, all these dudes were running around doing or saying was how American black women were this and they were that and they were terrible and they weren't feminine and all this other stuff. And every time you turn around, dudes will do a video and they'll say, get your passport, get your passport, get your passport. We don't want these women. We don't want these women. And for a whole year, it made our black women feel like crap. And it was terrible, right? So for anybody who has an understanding of life, if you can't get a woman in America, you can't get a woman in another country, because you are who you are regardless of where you go. You can go to another planet. You're still gonna get treated the same way because you are who you are. What's up, October?
Okay, so he starts off. Mr. Letgo starts off by saying that. And before I begin, once this video is over, I'm going to be sure to place the full link to the video on Mr. Letgo's channel, so you can watch the video in its entirety. Right. So Mr. Letgo starts off by saying that if you can't get a woman here, you can't get one anywhere. Now I don't know where he's been, but clearly, I disagree. I don't think that that's true. There are a lot of barriers between men getting with women. You know, you have the Me Too movement. You have the fact that in America, you have a lot of women who tend to try to humiliate you. And I don't have that video, but there are videos out there of women who actually enjoy humiliating men as they approach them. So I wouldn't necessarily say that that's true, that if you can't get a woman here, you can't get a woman anywhere. That's his perspective, but respectfully, I disagree. He says that he says it in the video. He talks about that passport bros are trying to make women feel bad. And I think, when he says this, I think he's really conflating the passport bros with the greater manosphere and the saving yourself black man movement. I don't think that is the aim of the passport bros. I think the passport bros are not singling out black women. What they're saying is their movement is a protest against all Western women. It's against a protest against feminism and a system that they believe is unfair and biased against men in favor of women. In the U.S., you have most women are not traditional women, but they expect men to be traditional. They expect men to open doors for them. They expect men to pay for dinner. They expect men to propose. They expect men to buy the wedding ring, which is like, I don't know what, 3 times a man's monthly salary. They expect men to be taller than them, to be bigger and protect them when they're in danger. They still embrace hypergamy. They expect men to earn more than them. They expect a man's money to be the family's money and a woman's money to be her own money. So in short, women are expecting men to be traditional men while not wanting to be traditional women or being traditional in a conditional sense whenever they feel like it, right? So this is what the passport bros are taking issue with. And some of them are feeling that it's just not worth dealing with it because the game isn't fair, right? Especially when you consider that 70 to 80% of all divorces are initiated by women. And when you factor in women with college education, that number goes up to 90%. And then the family courts are extremely biased against men in favor of women. And so when you take all of that in its totality, the passport bros see that the game is rigged and they're deciding to walk away, right? They're saying that you can't lose a game that you don't play. And so for most of these guys who claim that they want traditional women, they feel like if they can't get traditional women here in the States, then they'll travel abroad to other countries to find their traditional woman. Let's continue on.
The passport bros, have you heard of them?
I heard of it. I think it's all stupid though.
Have you heard of this analogy, the passport bros? Have you heard of them?
I heard of it. I think it's all stupid though.
Really? These guys are insane.
And I said this, I think a year ago. No, it wasn't a year ago. About 8, maybe a year ago. I don't know. I'm not sure. But shout out to my guy Andre Hatchett. I was on his show. But everybody hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let's get to it. You may want to turn this up a little bit. I think it's a little low.
Have you heard of this analogy, the passport bros? Have you heard of them?
I heard of it. I think it's all stupid though.
Really? These guys aren't saying they don't want chicks or that they don't want marriage.
They're just female. They're male females.
What they're saying, from what I've seen, is of course not everyone's the same, but for what generalization is, they want women, they want even marriage in a lot of cases. They just don't want it with
No, they don't.
with the Western woman. So they go
They
to
don't. They
Brazil,
don't. Name one dude that went somewhere and got married. None of them.
Colombia.
Name one of them that went out and found a woman, a wife.
I don't know a lot of passports.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. None of these niggas went out and did shit. It's just another way to say we don't like women. It's just dumb shit. Like I said, women are out here doing dumb shit. Men are trash, and men are out here doing dumb shit or saying dumb shit. Passport bros. It's all stupid. There's a whole bunch of stupid ass black people whining about why they don't like the other sex. Instead of fixing their own shit, I want to go get a passport. They're going to treat you like a cornball over there, just like the women over here treat you like a cornball. Uh-oh. I said, I'm stopping that right there for a specific reason. I'm stopping it right there for a specific reason. So let me show y'all why I stopped it right there, because this is important. Let's keep going. You're a cornball. See, people try to run away from themselves. Women put wigs on to think and feel like they're somebody else, and men get passports and start bragging. And there's nothing wrong in having a passport. But
Hold on. So
hey, I got
let me stop that there. So I want you to remember what he said. And because we're going to revisit his position about these passport brothers are not going, they're not trying to go overseas to get wives. So just remember what he said. We're gonna revisit that.
So fuck y'all bitches. No, you're gonna get treated the same way over there because you are a cornball. You're gonna get treated the same way over there because you are a cornball. Cornballs get treated like cornballs.
We had a party pooper right here. She's been negative the past 15 minutes. We had a party pooper right here. She's been negative the past 15 minutes. Stop being rude.
Like I said before, English is not here, so the translate.
So before I go a little farther, these dudes are running around bragging about being in other countries, living their best lives or whatever, and chicks that like aren't on the level of the women here because they live in a different country. I think he was in freaking Thailand or something. I don't know. This dude literally got kicked out of Brazil. He got kicked out of Brazil. How do you get kicked out of a country? You go to another country because you can't get women here and then get kicked out of the freaking country. And then you go to another country and then you get smushed in the face by a chick in another country. And this is what I'm saying, y'all. When you just look at the type of men that run around bragging about how women are this and women are that, don't offer a solution, because I talk about women, but I talk about single motherhood. I don't sit around and just talking about women, period. I have a problem with women just run around having fatherless babies everywhere. But when dudes are just running around saying, yo, these women are trash, we're going to go over here and get these women because they want to get married, they ain't trying to go over there and get married. And everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Come on, y'all. Hit the freaking like button. I know I ain't been here in a
hit that like button.
Y'all hit the like button. So why in the world would dudes who can't get women over here brag about getting women over there? You're getting the same treatment over there. And this right here is really pitiful. I wish a woman would mush me. Hold on. Some of y'all need to listen to this part here first. There's somebody else, and men get passports and start bragging. And there's nothing wrong in having a passport, but hey, I got a passport, so fuck y'all bitches. No, you're gonna get treated the same way over there because you are a cornball. You're gonna get treated the same way over there because you are a cornball. Cornballs get treated like cornballs.
Well, you got to give it to Letgo. He has message discipline. I mean, if he starts off a show and he says he's going to call you a cornball, he's going to ride that from start to finish. Yeah, so you got to give it. He's on message. He has message discipline. I know political campaign advisors would love him. He doesn't deviate from the script.
Bruh. What is this? What is this? Never in my life have I been treated like this.
And while I was on the show, I told him, I said, well, you're making it seem like this woman is doing it out of malice. I agree with him that it is somewhat disrespectful, but she's not doing it maliciously. I don't think she should do it, but she has a smile on her face. She didn't hit him. She's not trying to hurt him. But he says that never, a woman wouldn't do this. And I'm like, okay, well, you're in another country. What exactly are you planning to do? I mean, if she does that, then what? What are you going to do? There's not much you're going to do, because you end up in a Thailand prison with your cellmate named Big Thang, and he probably be, violates you. So I don't know, when guys are talking tough like, oh, this would never happen to me. Yeah, it won't happen to you until it does. And when you're in a country where the laws favor women, you have to move. You have to be cognizant of how you move.
You know why? Because I'm not a cornball. So apparently this man, and I got more proof, apparently this man can't get no poom poom over here. And because of that, he has to get treated like this in another country. In another freaking country. So you're gonna sit here, I want y'all to think about how much work this took, right? Nothing wrong with getting a passport, but you go change your whole life and go live in another country, and over in another country, you turn around and get treated the same way. So this is what's actually happening, y'all. Passport bros are simply looking for easy poom poom. That's really it. They're going over there paying for poom poom and bragging to the people in this country that they're having the time of their lives. Do you understand how sad and pitiful that is? I'm never gonna give up on black women. That's the first thing.
Okay, so he says that the passport bros are talking down on black women, and his position is that they're making them feel bad, and I guess that's a good message, but I think he may not be the right messenger, because there is probably no one on the internet, and I literally mean no one on the internet, who infantilizes women more than Mr. Letgo. I mean, he routinely calls them children, and said it makes him feel bad about that. So I don't know, and I don't see how men traveling abroad and encouraging other men to get their passports is making women feel bad. And if men going abroad and traveling abroad and enjoying themselves are making women feel bad, then maybe they should check themselves, not the men. Secondly, this is a very feminist tactic to play the victim, use that to shame men and guilt them into doing what it is they want. It's a form of manipulation, and it doesn't seem that the passport bros are going for that this time. I want to play a video. Let me play this video and show you where they're getting this argument from.
Seeks out women from developing countries who are poor, and vulnerable, you are a predator. This man in his video goes on to perpetuate a horrific stereotype that literally harms Asian women, that says that Asian women are more submissive and loyal than Western women. The reason these women from these developing countries are marrying you is the exact same reason that American women had to marry you before the 1970s, because they had to, because they were economically vulnerable. And now American women won't marry you because we can have our own jobs and our own bank accounts. So you have to go to a developing country where those women are more vulnerable so you can get them. That's a predator.
So hold on 1 second. Let me pause this. So you see, so they believe they get in this argument from feminists that if that women here don't want to marry you because they don't have to marry you because they have their own money. But if you decide to go overseas because you want a woman who's traditional and more submissive, then that makes you a predator. And this is the line a lot of them are using to shame the passport bros into staying here and not going overseas, right? And so I don't really have much of a stake in it, but the reason why I'm coming out in defense of the passport bros is because what I'm seeing being done is wrong. It seems like there's a smear campaign, right? I mean, initially it was they were derisive and dismissive of it. It was like, hey, get your passport, go. Nobody wants you. And then when guys are going overseas and they're getting married, then all of a sudden now it becomes that these guys are sex traffickers and they're going to pay for poom poom without any evidence. There's no evidence. They're just making it up. And so I felt compelled, like when it's wrong, that I have to step out and say something. Some people may they may stand down and say, hey, this isn't my fight, but I just felt like it's wrong and we need to call some of that out.
Throw other cultures or other women in their face and say they are better than our women. Now, do they have better, like, are they raised differently? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the reason why our black women are the way they are is because of us. We are part of the problem. Us men, we are part of the problem. And I have a full understanding of that. So I hold men accountable and I hold women accountable. Because if more women here were to sit down and get some therapy, and more men here were to turn around and stop chasing women all the time and actually get their money together and get therapy also, and provide a stable lifestyle for themselves, women wouldn't treat them the way that women treat them over here. That will make them feel like they have to go to another country in order to get treated better. It's not the country, bro. It's because you're broke. So I'm gonna skip to this real quick because this is another. Let me see. Aaron 1000. Before
me fast forward to his position.
1000, Cash App Aaron 1000, or drop a.
So again, this notion that the passport bros are paying for sex overseas without providing any proof, and I'm sure that there are some passport bros that are paying for sex, but the thing is to engage in sweeping generalizations. I think that shouldn't go unchallenged. All right. He says that, Mr. Letgo says that he's never going to give up on black women, and that's very honorable. All right, that's an honorable position to take, but I think it's a mistake to assume that all of the men going overseas are actually giving up on black women. Even though some men are going to countries like Thailand and the Philippines, most black men are hooking up with Afro-Latinas, say, for example, in Dominican Republic, in Colombia and Brazil. So I'm sure a lot of those men are also saying that, hey, they're never going to give up on black women. I think it has more to do with the system here. The system here being so biased and toxic against masculinity, against men, not just black men. And the fact that these men feel like the women are not really meeting them halfway. I think that is what is causing so many to explore options overseas. And there's not a guarantee that they're going to go over there and marry women. Some of them may just need a break, may need time to discover themselves. So Mr. Letgo, he also says that these men are throwing their success in the women's faces. And again, I'm just not seeing that. I mean, if traveling abroad and enjoying yourself is seen as throwing success in their faces, I think it's them that should check themselves. I don't think that's on the passport bros. When you look at it in America, it's actually, you can make the argument that it's actually women who actually throw their success in men's face when they talk about how much education that they have. They talk about how much money they make. I mean, you look on YouTube, women are talking about how they're doing laps around men. So in terms of who is more braggadocious and throws their success in the other's face, I would dare to say that women throw their success in men's face far more than men throw their success in women's face, right? And so for a lot of these guys, what they're simply doing is sharing their experiences with guys back home, right? The issue with men is men don't really believe what you tell them. You have to show them proof. That's just how men are, right? If you want men to move, you're going to have to show them evidence. And so in the age of social media, they can be on the ground, have a good time, and video record it and show people back home in real time what's going on. And I think this is more about showing men back home who don't believe what these men are telling them, more so than it is about throwing any perceived success in women's faces. You've had a lot of I don't want to say that Mr. Letgo has done it, but there have been a number of women who have thrown insults at women overseas, calling them dumb, calling them poor, calling them in some cases calling them prostitutes, and acting as though they are so outraged at the thought of men paying for prostitutes. Now, I find this to be hypocritical because they don't have that same sentiment with the practice of prostitution here in the United States. Prostitution is legal in Brazil. So I'm not saying that that's what they're going out there and doing, but it is legal in Brazil. It is illegal in the United States. So why don't these women focus their anger on prostitution here in the United States? Why don't they focus their anger at possibly shutting down strip clubs where, there's illicit sexual activity that happens there? Why don't they shame these Instagram thoughts? All right. They promote sex. Why don't they shut down OnlyFans? Right. OnlyFans is a form of prostitution. And I'll show you a quick video of how OnlyFans leads to prostitution, and in some cases is ending marriages. Now, could it be that the reason that they don't want to do these things is because they themselves can also benefit from it here? So I want to let me play this video and show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let me play this video, and this is a man discovering that his wife has an OnlyFans page. Let's take a look.
To the Comfort Inn Hotel. I don't even know what to do right now. Like, this is crazy, but I pulled up here, and I'm gonna tell y'all why I did this. My wife of 4 years is in this hotel right now, and she don't have a clue that I'm out here. The thing is, she's been on OnlyFans for a while now. I didn't know. I had no clue. I didn't know. I had no clue that this is what she was doing. But she about to find out today. The reason I found out is because my homie, he got an OnlyFans. Well, he don't have one, but he be on OnlyFans. And he runs across my wife's page, and he tells me that my wife has an OnlyFans. So I'm like, what? Wow. So every day she's coming home. She's acting regular. She doesn't know that I even know this shit. So what I did is made a fake OnlyFans page, and I made my name D-Rock on there. I made my name D-Rock, and she don't know what's going on. But what's up? How you doing, man? You all right? Nah, I'm good. So she don't know what's going on. I made a fake page, right? I made a fake page on OnlyFans. I'm sorry, y'all, but I made a fake page on OnlyFans. And been talking to her for a week on OnlyFans. And I made my name D-Rock. So she's thinking she's doing a meetup with a guy named D-Rock. And it's me the whole time. So she's been hiding and having this OnlyFans the entire time. And the whole time, she's been telling me, like, when she's gone and she's doing stuff like that, I'm thinking that she's handling business, you know what I mean? Work business, work meetings, hanging out with her friends and stuff like that. When she's going for hours at a time, I'm not overthinking it. Whole time she has OnlyFans. So I made an OnlyFans. And we've been talking for a week on OnlyFans, right? And she don't know. So she just gave me a room number and everything. And, oh, here you go. She gave me a room number and everything. And she does not know that I am coming to this door. So that being said, I'm finna bust it. And I'm not with it no more because it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Look at it. And she don't even know. Look at it. Exactly. Open it. No. Court. Open the door. Open the door. Open the door. What are you doing? Ain't no what am I doing? What is you doing? I said, what is you doing? What is you doing? You doing meetups? No. You doing meetups? I'm not. You doing meetups? No, I'm not. What you talking? I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. No, I'm not stupid. I'm D-Rock. I'm D-Rock. Don't stop playing. I'm D-Rock. You know, yeah, you know now. You didn't know. I'm D-Rock, the one you been DMing on OnlyFans for the past week. Look at this shit, man. I'm sitting at the house the other day when she's talking about, oh, I'm business meetings or I'm hanging with my friends. You doing meetups. There's nothing to explain. Nothing to explain. You would have, man, I don't give a about no more. Hey, listen, I'm not trying to hear none of them excuses. You and this motherfucker in a whole fucking bikini or some shit about to trying to do meetups. What the you doing? Let me ask you, what are you doing with these meetups? Because you didn't know this was me. That's me you've been talking to for this whole past week. You been coming, listen, coming home. I'm not trying to hear none of that shit. You been coming I'm not trying to hear none of that shit. You been coming home, laying in the bed with me, I don't know about none of that crying, none of that shit. You been coming home, listen, you been coming, no, because that shit crazy. You be coming home every day laying with me and doing all that shit the whole time. You doing meetups and shit. No, ain't none of that. You doing meetups. This is what I did not want to marry. This is not what I want. I didn't marry. This is not what I married. We've been married 4 years. We've been married 4 years. It ain't no dance. Ain't no such thing. There's no dance. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? I'm not trying to hear that shit. 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 No, don't try to cover yourself up. Don't try to cover. Why are you embarrassed now? You wasn't embarrassed at first. You wasn't embarrassed when you was on there. I don't give. Now she want to cry. I don't give about none of that crying. Just know this. When you come home, get your shit. I know I love you shit. I know I love you shit. You don't fucking love me. You don't love me. You don't love me. Back away from me. Back away from me. Back away from me. Back away from me. I know did shit. You doing meetups. You got an OnlyFans, you doing meetups. You doing OnlyFans, no, don't touch Katrina, don't touch me. You got an OnlyFans, you doing meetups all the time, you want to cry and do all that shit? No, I you. So just whatever, do it this, listen. Finish doing what you want to sit there, finish doing what you was doing, finish doing about what you thought you about to do. Call the next thing, but come get your shit. Your shit will be outside when you come home. Your shit will I don't give about none of that. I don't think about none of that. I don't even know the kids' mind. I don't even know if they mind now. This shit, I don't give a yeah, it's all good. You can try to get mad, you can flip it all you want. It's all good. That's what you want to do. You come get your shit. That's what you want to do. You come get your shit. I know that. You come get your shit. You get your shit. Don't come to my house. Come get your shit and leave. See how we up. He's out here telling you doing what you want to do.
So, yeah, so this is what I'm saying. I mean, so people are acting outraged about the possibility of men going and using prostitutes overseas when we have that here. All right, you could save a lot of that energy for that here. And in this case, you have a woman who is married and she's using OnlyFans as her hustle to sell a little bit more than just a fantasy. I don't know if many of you caught that. You know, she was shaking her thigh fat and said, I was just doing this. You know, she was saying that's all I was going to give him. but we all know she was going to give him a little bit more than that. So I'm going to, so that's about all I'm going to play for the, for Mr. Letgo. I wanted to play a little bit of the Auston Holleman interview, so you get a chance to hear from the kid itself. It's about 7 minutes. I'll break it up a little bit so we can react to the video. Let me pull up Mr. Holleman's interview with Isaiah on the Isaiah Factor down at Fox 26 in Houston.
Auston, what kind of damn trouble did you get yourself into with these Brazilian women?
Well, actually, I wasn't trying to start any trouble. I actually thought I was doing a lot of promoting. But apparently some things were lost. Some things were purposely lost in translation on purpose. And that it's led to death threats, you know, and I was already on my way to Thailand anyway. I was going to be in Sao Paulo for about a week. But based off the way how things were going, I just said, you know what, I probably ought to head out 3 or 4 days earlier. So I'm over here now.
So I saw a part of your video where you said, and you clarified, you said some Brazilian women are easy. It depends on who you are, how you approach them, not as a robot, but as an individual. And when they heard that, they just went bonkers over those comments when you said that Brazilian women are easy. Some Brazilian women are easy to get. So why did you say that? Is that reality for you when you're there? Is it easier for you to get Brazilian women than, say, American women?
Yes, the culture is completely different there. So women are a lot more responsive. It's a lot more reasonable dealing with women, if you ask me. The games, there's games everywhere, but there is such a minimal level in Brazil, it's almost unnoticeable. But the reason I said easier, and the thing is, the reason a lot of those Brazilians are in like an outrage is because number one, they're going off, they're just running. It's just like January 6th, right? Trump says do this, everybody runs and does it. That's the same thing they're doing right now. Without watching the video, without understanding what the title actually is, because the title is a question. Right. And so what he's talking about here is the title of his video. So on YouTube, what folks have a tendency to do is they tend to engage to use questions that are almost clickbaitish, right? So very provocative questions that draw in the viewer. And in this case, it backfired on him. He was trying to say, you know, are Brazilian women easy, like in terms of easier to deal with, which he will go into. But the way he framed the question, it set some of the feminists in Brazil on fire. There was a black Brazilian woman by the name of Stephanie Ribeiro, and she was so incensed and so outraged by the title. And so she really thought that what he was doing was portraying Brazilian women as slutty, and which would invite a bunch of American Johns to come here to take advantage of vulnerable Brazilian women. And I think it was a mistake on his part. I mean, because you have to be very sensitive when you're in other countries. It was a mistake on his part to use that provocative title, because you're not in America. It can be taken the wrong way, and he knows that now. And so, and the thing is, what people are forgetting is that Auston Holleman, he's only 23 years old. He's a very young brother, and you know, with age comes wisdom. So he's not that many years removed from college and high school. So that's something to keep in mind. The title says, "Are Brazilian women easy?" That's the topic. This is what we're going to talk about. The first statement I made is, in general, they're easy to deal with. I didn't say anything about sex. I did eventually, and later on in the video, but I didn't lead with that because that's not all that was about. I would not move to another country and get online and call the women easy.
Did you move to Brazil? Were you living there at that point?
Yeah, I was living there.
Now you're in Thailand.
Yeah, well, I'm not living in Thailand though. I was already gonna come here anyway. I had already put up I think it was 10 or 11 countries I was gonna do this year, but I just came here 4 or 5 days earlier because everything that was going on. But
now, okay, so you hear he left on his own volition. He was already planning on leaving, but because things got hot, he chose to leave earlier. Now, I don't know where some of these folks are getting this that the Brazilians kicked all of these guys out and they canceled. I think this is just sensationalism. I mean, he committed no crime. What crime did he commit? What is he going to get kicked out for? Right. And so, again, so the very thing that caused Auston Holleman issues in Brazil, right, engaging in like clickbaitish, very provocative YouTube titles, the people who are criticizing them are doing the exact same thing.
yeah, I did want to live in Brazil permanently, but I'm gonna have to let this die down first.
So there's this whole movement that we've heard about called passport bros, individuals, usually upwardly mobile African-American men who leave the country, and they say they're looking for wives, different women than what they have or the choices that they have in the United States. And many people have taken offense to it, saying it's just a form of sex tourism. It's a form of human trafficking or sex trafficking. When you hear the term, do you consider yourself a passport brother? And what do you think about that so-called movement that we've been seeing as of late here in the United States?
I would consider myself, yes. Now, I do want to state this too. People have called me the leader. I've never claimed that. That's something that they said. There's no official leader of that. I think it's just an identity of somebody that has they're traveling for that purpose, traveling to, meet new women and enjoy a different culture and a better lifestyle. Those
But really quick, for those who may say this is just a form of prostitution, you're going to different countries to pay and to have sex with women. You're not truly having a relationship with them.
That's not my reality, because I moved there. So, if I'm not going back and forth. So if anybody's going to have a relationship, it would have been me. Now, there are some dudes that do travel back and forth. There are some people do fit into those categories that they claim, but I'm not here to say that's the majority. There are men that go down there just to sleep with women. Women do the same thing too. Women do sex tourism too. But there are men that.
Right. So let's talk about. I'm gonna stop right there. Stop the video right there, and let's talk about the fact that that women do sex tourism too, because I find this a bit hypocritical that we only want to focus on men and the possibility that men are going overseas for sex tourism, while saying nothing of the fact that women have been going overseas for sex tourism for decades. In fact, they made a movie about it. It's called How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Now, prior to that, many white women were traveling to third world countries, whether it's Gambia, whether it's Kenya, whether it's Dominican Republic, or Jamaica, right? In Jamaica, they actually have, these ornaments, these souvenirs of a little wooden figurine with a very long penis. They call it the Big Bamboo. And so a lot of women travel to Jamaica to go and visit a shrine of the Big Bamboo, right? So Reuters has it about 80,000 women between Europe and North America, that's primarily Canada and the United States, go down to Jamaica for sex tourism. What they have is what they call vacation bays or vacation romances. And a lot of these women pay for play. They pay to have sex with these third world guys. They take advantage of them, right? So the same women that are pointing and trying to shame men for taking advantage of poor women in third world countries, lo and behold, are doing the exact same thing. And that's what Angela Bassett did. Terry McMillan, because Angela Bassett in the movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back was dating a guy who was young enough to be her son, right? He was a lot younger than her, and he didn't have money. I mean, I think on the first or second day they went to a pajama party, and you know, I guess there was a scene where they were in the pool and she felt up on the big bamboo. It's been a long time since I watched the movie, but that's exactly what it is. It was sexual exploitation. But for some reason, when women do it, we poo-poo it. And as far as like women going overseas, abroad for relationships, again, they've been doing this since around 2009. They had agencies that double up as like it's a concierge. It's both the travel agency and dating agency. There was one called Girls Travel. There's another one called Girls Travel 2. There are a number of concierges that are geared towards black women to go find romantic relationships overseas. And for Girls Travel 2, this was largely for women who were interested in finding romantic relationships with Italian men. And so they would have trips where they would go over to Italy. And this is for women who felt invisible to men. They felt like black men wasn't noticing them, or they felt that they were undervalued and overlooked. And here today, you have men that are saying the exact same thing, but yet when men say that, it's a problem, right? So I think it's important that we point out these hypocrisies, right? And say you can't say what's good for me is not good for thee. You can't say that, okay, it's okay when a woman does it. When a woman wants to go through self-discovery and find herself, fine. But when a man wants to go through self-discovery, you want to shame him and make him feel weak. And ironically, when men do that to other men, they call it toxic masculinity. But when women do that to men, it's considered to be just fine. So let me go ahead and continue with the video.
I actually are enjoying the difference of the culture and programming of women in a different country.
Do you think this gives the movement a bad name, the passport bros a bad name, if your sole purpose is for sex tourism and prostitution?
Yes, and on my YouTube channel, I actually tell dudes not to go down there to deal with prostitutes, because you cannot complain about American women and then just go pay for some experience that she's getting paid. You know, I'm not going to say it's not genuine, but I'm going to assume it's not genuine because you had the money. I don't think she'd treat you like that. Okay. So you heard what he said. He said he encourages men not to do that because you're not going to get a genuine experience. And he's very, I mean, other than a few mistakes, he's a very wise young man. He's 23. He's young enough to be my son. And he's actually right. I mean, if you pay, people will act in whatever way you desire if you're paying. You're not going to get a genuine experience. And I've been to Brazil numerous times in the early 90s, and you don't need to pay, right? I mean, one, they are very amorous people. They're very loving and affectionate people. Like probably, I've been to a number of countries. They're probably the most affectionate that I've seen. And they're people who are good people. I mean, they could be poor, and a lot of them really don't want to take anything from you. It's not like, no shade to DR, but you know, DR, they can be about money, and same thing with Panama. But Brazil was something like totally different, right? And you have to consider that in Brazil, there's a lot of women. The ratio of women to men is high. There are a lot of women. So there are a lot of available women. And when you take into consideration that the number one export of the U.S. around the globe is culture, and black men and black women perpetuate that culture, whether it's R&B, whether it's hip hop. And so if you have people who are into to hip hop or R&B or you know, they follow sports, then of course there's going to be an affinity for a black American, especially when all of that culture comes from the U.S. All right, let me continue.
You know, you're absolutely right. Now, one of the comments you made in your video, you said it's extremely hard to find. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack when it comes to a good American woman. So are you doing harm yourself when you make comments like that?
I say that based off of the qualities that I want. And my mother used to cook for me, and twice a day when I was growing up. And I know American women would say, "Oh, you want a mother?" Well, if that's how you look at it, so be it. You should have Uber Eats all your food then. But I want a woman that cooks. And the thing is, this is what a lot of people don't understand down here. As an American, 50 grand a year puts you in the top 1% of the world. So as an American, you go somewhere to another country, you have enough excess income to eat out 3 times a day in Brazil or Thailand or Colombia. You can eat out 3 times a day. So whoever my wife is, she's not even gonna be cooking anyway, because I don't even, when I was in the States, I cooked for myself, but I have my money multiplied 5 times when I got to Brazil. So why would I stand in the kitchen and cook when I can just go downstairs and eat and somebody make it for me? So the whole
You do know, though, Austin, there are American women who will cook for you if you're deserving.
Now, what the hell does that mean? And this is so you can find a woman that'll cook for you if you're deserving, right? So can we say that you will find a man that will protect a woman if she's deserving? We will find a man who will provide for a woman and his family if they're deserving. You see, marriage is a trade-off. It's give and take. But for some reason, a lot of women feel that, their submission, their respect, their cooperation is conditional, and yet they're obligated to a man's protection and provision. And this is part of the problem. And some people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to upset. They don't want to upset women, because the moment a lot of women get upset, they hate you, and some men are afraid to be hated by women. For me, it's okay. It doesn't bother me. I focus on logic. I don't get too caught up into the emotional rhetoric
of that meal.
Well, okay, so that's the problem, though. What is deserving?
Did you give it a chance? And how old are you now?
23.
How old?
23.
23? Yeah. Man, you ain't giving no damn time.
I didn't need to. I gave it 2 or 3 years, and yeah, I went to Brazil one time, and I didn't talk to anybody since I got back.
That's when he lost my ass. 23. 23.
Yeah. So I wanted to do both. I wanted to show Mr. Letgo's take on it, and how he says that he wanted to defend women, right? Matter of fact, let me play this. I'm going to play this one clip, and then I'm going to start to wrap it up. You have to see this, because if you remember, I told you to remember where Mr. Letgo says, "Man, how many men you know that are going overseas to get married? None of them, right?" So let me play this clip for you real quick. Hopefully,
You heard of this analogy, the passport bros? Have you heard of that?
I heard of it. I think it's all stupid.
Shout out to Barracuda. I see you, Barracuda.
Guys aren't saying they don't want chicks, or
much respect.
They don't want marriage.
They're just female. They're male females.
What they're saying, from what I've seen, is of course not everyone's the same, but what generalization is, they want women. They want even marriage in a lot of cases. They just don't want it with.
No, they don't.
With the Western woman, so they go to Brazil.
They don't name one dude that went somewhere and got married. None of them.
Colombia.
Name one of them that went out and found a woman, a wife.
I don't know a lot of passports.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. None of these niggas went out and did shit.
Men. But the thing is, there are men out there successful. One, Steve Argiden, he got a lady from Colombia. There are men who are doing their thing out there.
Hold on. What? Who did what?
Steve Argiden. You familiar with that channel? It's a channel on YouTube. He's been married for 3 years with his Colombian wife.
Bro, I don't know about this stuff. I'm just trying to take up for our women, because I'm sick of these cornballs just running around trying to make women feel like they're inadequate.
Okay, so before I go on, I want to again shout out big shout out to Barracuda. Thanks for coming through. E Black, thanks for coming through, my brother. So when you look at those two clips, the two clips that are juxtaposed to each other in one, Mr. Letgo is definitively saying that none of them, you don't know any of them that are going out and getting married. And then when Barracuda mentioned that, mentioned the brother Steve Argadin, and he said, who? I don't know. He said, let me be honest, I don't follow any of them. So, you know, my thing is, it's hard to make sweeping generalizations and definitive statements if you're not familiar with the fact. And sometimes we have to be humble. And I understand that Mr. Letgo is passionate. He's passionate about defending the sisters. I get that. But you have to be fair in how you and be wise in how you move, because by his own admission, he says he sees himself as a leader. And one thing is, leaders should be judicious and they should be balanced, right? That's very important. And before I wrap up, I'll say this again. I have been married for over 2 decades. My wife is African American, right? So I am, even though I've traveled abroad in the 90s and have a passport, I can't say I'm a passport bro, but I am sympathetic to their cause. I don't have a stake in this, but I believe that right is right and wrong is wrong. And I feel that trying to tarnish the reputation of an entire group simply because many of them are exercising the option to walk away, I think is wrong. Now, do I want our men and our women to get together? Yes, I do. I do. I believe that we are better together, but I don't believe that it should be, the negotiation should favor one side, right? And for far too long, women have been uncompromising because they knew that men had nowhere to go, right? They had no other options. And now that men have said, hey, you know what? You've told us that we are conquered. You told us that we are underachievers, that we're not educated. I mean, you portrayed black men in such a bad light, and that so many men are tired of being beaten up. And the fact that you're not willing to compromise, that you want a man that's traditional, at the same time you don't want to be traditional yourself, guys are grabbing hold of their passport and saying, you know what, no mas. And now that they've called your bluff and are willing to walk away from the table, it's almost as though panic is setting in. And this is what I said on Mr. Letgo's show. I said, this behavior is one of like a narcissist. This is exactly how narcissistic people behave, where they try to tear down the other person and make themselves look great. And then when the other person leaves, that narcissistic supply leaves, they go in panic mode and they try to besmirch their reputation. And that's wrong. And finally, I'm going to share with you a story that I came across on social media. And it is a story of a man who went to the club with his girlfriend, and he was spending time with his girlfriend at the club, and he left his girlfriend because he went to go and use the restroom. Now, he wasn't gone for that long, but by the time he came back, he noticed his girlfriend was dancing and grinding on another man. You know, much to his chagrin, he just stood there. He looked at her, wasn't sure how he was going to approach it. And then he decided that she wasn't worth it, that he was going to leave. So as he makes a beeline out of the club, she noticed that he didn't even come over to her. So she runs out of the club. She goes to confront him as he's I guess he's going to get in a cab or Uber, and she slaps him. And then she tries to slap him again, and he grabs her arm. But the bouncer stepped in, right? And he's trying to intimidate the man and get physical with the man because he feels like you shouldn't be putting your hands on a woman when all the man is really doing is defending himself. Now, he doesn't know what transpired in the club. All he knows is that this woman needs his help and the man must have done something wrong, right? Because we always blame the man. And in this case, what Letgo is doing is like he's being the bouncer. He doesn't care what the women are doing. It's just the men that need to be policed, the men that need to be controlled. And so for a lot of guys, whether, using this example, whether you stay in a club and you watch your woman dancing with another man, you're like a beta. If you go to jail because you fight over a woman who completely disrespected you, you're stupid. You walk out of the club, a woman hits you and she's berating you. You sit there, you do nothing, you take it, you're weak. If you hit her, you become a male batterer. No matter what you do, it's a lose-lose situation. And far too often, that's what a lot of guys are finding themselves in those situations. What we need to do is we need to, instead of trying to over police men, right? We need to try to see how we can bring women back to the table, to the negotiating table, right? We need women to be humble, to come to the table with some humility and not say that I will never settle. So you want men to compromise and settle with women who may be a little robust or obese, or deal with women who have children, or deal with women who have attitudes, whatever the case may be. Men are willing to compromise, but so many women are not willing to compromise. And when they do, they make the man feel bad for their decision to compromise. And that's all I'm saying. And that's in my opinion, that's how Mr. Letgo and some of these male YouTubers are acting towards the Passport Bros. So I want to thank everybody who's in here tonight. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Get the word out, and tell them about your brother AK. Right? As always, I want you to keep an open mind, think for yourself, and stay lit. AK on fire.